Most people that think about the Hollywood Hills have this image in their head. The city directly below you, winding roads that lead you to the best nightlife, and the kind of home that makes you feel like you finally arrived in Los Angeles. You made it, baby. A lot of that is real, but there's a lot that comes with living up here. And people only find that out after they've spent the millions of dollars and moved right in. I'm Eddie Fallah, a luxury real estate agent based right here in the Hollywood Hills. And I've spent years working in and around these canyons. And today I want to walk you through what living in the Hollywood Hills actually looks like. The neighborhoods, the lifestyles, the market, and the things that genuinely catch people off guard. So let's get into it. But before we do, please make sure you subscribe to our channel. I talk about all the different neighborhoods in Los Angeles. I put out a new video each week describing them in detail, and I would love for you to follow along because there's a lot of nuggets in LA that I'm gonna be talking about that you may not know about yet. The first thing you wanna understand about the Hollywood Hills is that it's not just one neighborhood. People who live up here don't say they live in the Hollywood Hills. They say they live in Laurel Canyon, or in Nichols Canyon, or they're in the Bird Streets, or Beechwood Canyon. And those distinctions matter a lot more than you think they would. Laurel Canyon is the one with the most history. In the 60s and early 70s, this is where the American folk rock scene lived and thrived. Joni Mitchell, Jim Morrison, the Eagles, Neil Young, they all were within a few blocks of each other. And the Canyon Country Store from that era is still open today. Their walls are covered in photos of all of them. There's even a Jim Morrison lyric on a sign out front. That energy never really left. And today it draws musicians, writers, and entertainment industry people. Prices in Laurel Canyon run between 1.2 million on the low end to 3 million and up on the higher end. Now the Bird Streets are a completely different world. Why are they called the Bird Streets? Well, because they're named after birds. Streets named Oriole Way, Blue Jay Way, Nightingale Drive. They sit above the Sunset Strip with some of the most dramatic city views in all of Los Angeles. Homes here typically start at $3 million. But they can go way above that. You're talking 20, 30, $40 million homes. The architecture is modern and they're designed to maximize those views. Keanu Reeves, Leo DiCaprio, your young Hollywood type, they're all connected within this pocket of the Hollywood Hills. Because it draws a buyer who wants privacy, prestige, and a home that earns its price on its own terms. Beechwood Canyon is where the original Hollywood land development began. This was built in 1923. That famous Hollywood sign was put up as a real estate advertisement for those first lots. Yes, believe it or not, the Hollywood sign you love so much was a real estate advertisement. So good on you, real estate advertisers. At least something we put out got itself a good name. The architecture here leans more Spanish and storybook. The streets are quieter, and you get some of the best access to Griffith Park hiking of any other neighborhoods in the hills. Nichols Canyon is private and lush with large lots and a serious concentration of mid-century modern homes. This is where you're finding your mid-century modernist homes by architects like Richard Neutra and John Lautner. And Outpost Estates, developed in the 1920s, is one of the most livable day-to-day neighborhoods with better parking, larger lots, and walkable access to Runyon Canyon. So which canyon you land in shapes everything in your life. And it's worth understanding the differences before you start looking. So who lives here and what does day-to-day life actually look like? The Hills mostly draws entertainment industry professionals, agents, directors, musicians, architects, tech executives, and international buyers who want the full LA experience. This is the experience that you fell in love with in the movies before you made the move out to Los Angeles. And what all these people share is they want privacy, they want access to the city, and they want a home that feels different from the rest of Los Angeles. Mornings up here have a very specific rhythm. Runyon Canyon Park draws around 35,000 visitors a week, and it functions as a neighborhood's communal outdoor space. People hike it, they walk their dogs, they do their workouts. You genuinely run into celebrities on that trail on a regular basis. It's not a myth, it's just a Tuesday. One thing people don't expect is the wildlife. Deer walk through the properties at night. You have a $30 million property and a deer is walking right in your backyard. Coyotes are a constant presence throughout the canyon, so keep your cats inside. And there's even been mountain lion sightings in the hills going back years. Most famously P-22, who lived in Griffith Park for over a decade and became something of a local legend before his passing in 2022. You're living on the edge of wild land up here, and that is genuinely a part of the appeal for a lot of people. It just comes as a surprise if nobody warned you about it. Now, the Hills does not have much in the way of shops or restaurants inside the canyons. You come up to live and you go down to do everything else. The Sunset Strip is 10 minutes from most parts of the Hills, which puts some of the best restaurants and nightlife in the city right at your door, Well, 10 minutes away from your door. You get all that access, and then you get to come home to the quiet. That contrast is a big part of why people love it. And the Hollywood Bowl, that deserves its own mention. Who doesn't love the Hollywood Bowl? If you live in the Outpost Estates or close to it, you can genuinely hear concerts from your backyard. Now, people have strong feelings about this, depending on your relationship with music, but if my backyard had the Gypsy Kings and the Beastie Boys and whoever else is performing at the Hollywood Hills that night for free, I'd love it. But it tells you something about how embedded the Hills is in the life of this city. The views, they do something to you. It sounds like a selling line from a cheesy real estate advertisement, which I'm full of. I'm full of the cheesy lines if you guys want them. But it's worth saying because it's actually true in a way, and that affects how people live. When you have a view of the entire LA basin from your home, your relationship with the city changes. You stop feeling like you're inside it, and you start feeling like you're above it in a sort of weird way. Now, different people have a different relationship with feeling above in different ways, but it's hard to describe unless you've experienced. My office is located right here on the Sunset Strip, and we're pretty high up. As you can see, the views from here are incredible. So when I walk into this office every single day and I can see the rest of Los Angeles right behind me, you get this feeling of energy. It's like an instant shot to the arm, and you just want to get to work and you want to experience and enjoy everything the city has to offer. Residents here entertain at home more. They spend more time outside. They use their decks and their pools much differently than people do in other parts of Los Angeles. The home becomes the destination. Griffith Park is right there. Over 4,300 acres with 53 miles of trails. The observatory, the Greek Theater, that's more than 5 times the size of Central Park. On clear days, you can see the ocean from the ridges. The access to that kind of nature, sitting right next to one of the most urban parts of this entire country, is one of the things that make living here genuinely hard to walk away from. Now let's talk about the roads, because it's a lot more than people expect. These canyon roads were built a century ago. They were built for a fraction of the people and cars that occupy them today. They are narrow, they're winding, and they're very steep. In some pockets of the hills, 2 cars coming from opposite directions have to narrowly squeeze past each other just to get by. And on trash days, don't get me started. I only know this because I completely sideswiped my side view mirror off one day driving up to a showing in the hills, and those streets can be very narrow on their own. Now when you have people putting their trash cans out, see you later. I want you to understand that this is not an occasional thing. You're squeezing by cars every single time you go up into the hills. And during peak hours, to get from the hills to the west side, downtown, or Century City can take 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes it can take you 30 minutes just to get out of the hills to the nearest freeway. You can leave early and the same drive still takes you 20 to 25 minutes. Residents learn the timing fast because it matters more here than anywhere else in LA. Rideshare is also very complicated in this part of the hills, particularly late at night. Drivers cancel, it takes longer, and parking is a real factor when you're evaluating a property, especially if you're going to be hosting a lot of people. Most people have steep, narrow driveways. A lot of them only have 1-car garages with a very tiny driveway that you couldn't fit a second car onto. And some of those driveways are in tandem configurations, even if they're long enough. Guest parking is genuinely limited, and homes with flat usable parking and easy access command a meaningful premium in this market. Experienced buyers know exactly why. They've been burned before. Now I want to talk about fire insurance because it's very important that we know about this before going into the hills. A significant portion of the Hollywood Hills fall within very high or high fire hazard severity zones. After what happened across Los Angeles in January of 2025, this became a conversation that every buyer in a hillside area needs to have before they close. Some homes qualify for private insurance. Others end up on the California Fair Plan, which is the state's last resort for buyers in California. Cost and availability varies by property, and it affects your real monthly cost of ownership more than people expect. California passed new legislation in 2025 and into 2026 to stabilize this market, and things are improving. But this is still something to research early in your process, rather than after you're emotionally committed to a specific home, and then you come to find out that your insurance is over the roof, and you don't even qualify for the mortgage. So let's talk about the market right now. The Hollywood Hills median sold price is around $2.1 million as of early 2026. Across the broader canyon corridors, prices run between $1.85 million and $2.4 million, depending on where you are. The bird streets are a completely different conversation. Typically starting at $3 million, but there's no real ceiling depending on the architectural significance of each property. There are generally between 90 and 130 active listings across the hills at any given moment, which is more than the near zero inventory of 2023 and 2024. Homes that are turnkey, accurately priced, and have solid parking are moving inside of 30 days. The sale to list ratio for well-priced properties is running around 97%. Homes that sit longer almost always have an access issue, a pricing issue, or both. For buyers, this is a more measured market than anything since before the pandemic. There's real time to look carefully, compare the different canyons, and make a decision without the pressure of 2021. The buyers that are doing well in the hills right now are the ones who know what they want and they move quickly when they find it. Living in Hollywood Hills is one of those experiences that people genuinely don't want to give up once they have it. There's nothing else in Los Angeles quite like it. The history, the views, the wildlife in your backyard, the quiet above the city, the Sunset Strip 10 minutes away. It's a very specific kind of life, and the people who find it tend to stay. Drop in the comments if you're already up there or thinking about making a move. I'd love to hear where you're at. And as always, I'm Eddie Fallah, your luxury real estate consultant and developer right here in the Hollywood Hills. If you have any questions at all, or you're looking to buy or sell a home, reach out to me. All my information is in the description below. I'd love to hear from you and have a genuine conversation about where you're at in your real estate journey. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.